Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to today's session of Full Stack Developer course by One Byte Labs. I hope you are able to hear me and able to see the screen. Okay, so in the last session, we discussed about the CSS. Okay, we discussed how CSS we can use with the HTML. Okay, now we'll proceed to the next topic in CSS only, and we'll see how we can use advanced CSS. In the last session, we discussed about CSS box, CSS font, CSS icon, emojis, and other kind of things like in HTML emojis and all, right? So we'll proceed with some examples in the CSS. Like you already know about CSS colors, CSS background, CSS borders, CSS margin, CSS padding, height, width, box model, creating division, borders, text, font, okay, link, okay. So all these things we already discussed about. Okay. Now let us see uh, the other topic of CSS, which is, just wait for a moment. Huh. So we'll start with the CSS position today. Then we'll discuss about CSS overflow. Then we'll discuss about CSS float, align, opacity, navigation bar, and drop down. Okay, and form also. So these are the topics which we will be discussing in today's session. Okay, now what is position property in CSS first of all? Let me first of all start the XAMPP here, and then we'll open out the website, the web pages and all. So wait for a moment. Okay, so everything is done. Let us now open our localhost. So these are the files which we created in the last few sessions. Now we'll start our Atom, the text editor, to see. Okay, now the Atom is also open. So we'll create a new file first. Let me create all these things in here. Welcome guide and all. Okay, so I'll create a new file, and the CSS which we already used, we'll use the same property in here. Like suppose we used external CSS, internal CSS, inline CSS. So here we'll be using a normal inline CSS, internal CSS. Okay, so first I'll start the HTML, then the head, and the title, CSS examples, title, close, head, close. Remember, in this head only we'll define out our CSS. Okay, so body open, body close, HTML close. Now I'll save the file as css property.html. So css property.html. That's it. Defined. I will define the first one here is the CSS position property. Okay, so let us save this one. So basically, a position property in CSS specifies the type of positioning method which we'll be using for the element. Now, first we'll be defining a division. Okay. Now, division you already know how to define. Let me show you again how we use the division to be defined. So div, right, and div closed. This is how we define a div. Correct. Now, so right now I will not be defining any division class. I will be directly using as div only. Okay, and the division I will define the style in the header here. Okay, so if you want, you can define the class also. So let me use the class example. Okay, it will be easy for you to understand. So division class equal to, so first, let us see position type static. So there are basically 5 types of positioning in CSS, which is static, relative, fixed, absolute, and sticky. So let us see each and every example one by one. First one will be static. Okay. So in the static, let us define something in the division first. Normally, I will define it as this is a give with static position. That's it. And I will define the static div here in the head. How we use it? Like this, right? Style. And then we'll end the style. So I'll define the div dot static like this. Okay, it will only work for the divisions only. So div dot static position. Position will be static. Okay, so position is static, position is relative, position is absolute, position is fixed, position is sticky, inherit, and like this. So we'll use first of all the static. Okay, and then I will use a border. Just define it as 2 pixels solid, and let's use the gray. Okay, now this is the static, it's done. Let us try to load it in here. So we'll say reload it. And what we see, this is the static example. CSS position property, static position. Okay. Now let us try the relative one. Okay. So you will see what is the exact difference between the static, the relative, and the others. Okay. The usage is a little bit of different. We may need to define some extra elements in here. Okay. Just wait for a moment. Okay, so let us define the relative one. So we'll see what will be the difference between the relative. Okay, let's create a new division. So I will give H2 title again. H2 C. No, let us not give the H2. We'll directly start the division. Class equal to relative. Okay, this is a div with relative position. I will define the relative in here. So we'll define it normally as div dot relative. Okay, and then we'll define the position type equal to relative, and then one thing defined, we can define it as left. Okay, it's a feature of the relative. We can define how much left we want it the division to be. I want it to be 30 pixels from the left. It's normally not possible without margin and padding. So in this it's possible. So the border I will use it as 2 pixel, solid and gray. Let us now reload this. We'll see what is the difference. So what you see here, the division is uh, little bit of left from its actual position. Okay, so this CSS positioning is important. When you create a website, it's important to position the division based on the requirement. So you can see I gave a left 30 pixel and it is now relative. When I even minimize it, or when I even when I maximize it or minimize it, takes very useful in terms of you can say which is the absolute. So just wait for that. Sorry, the next one will be the fixed one. Okay, so fixed one is a kind of, you can say, position which will be fixed on the page. It won't be like some other divisions. It will be fixed kind of thing. So let me show you the example of that also. So let us create a new division class fixed. This is a div with fixed position. Okay, so we'll define it div dot fixed position fixed. So in here we need to define some more options. Like suppose when we do a fixed option here, we need to define where it must be fixed, at which part of the web page. So for example, I will use bottom 0, right, sorry, right 0. We need to define the width also. Suppose 200 pixels. Then the last border 2 pixels, solid gray. Let us now load the result. So you see here that this is, let me reduce the size. What you see, it is fixed. This example you can see live chat. Once you go to a website, say that onebytelabs.in, what you see here that a live chat button will be fixed in here. Let me open that. It will take some time to load. Okay, what you see, live chat button is fixed because it is using a division fix, a position fix. Okay, this is the fixed position. Is absolute. So what is absolute position? It is you can say a kind of position which you can say, like suppose a kind of element is already defined. Say that a relative division is defined. Suppose in this division you want to define again one division, so you can use absolute in that. Okay, so it's a position relative to the nearest position, the ancestor, which means if relative is defined or static is defined or fixed is defined, under that you can define an absolute. So that once you create a website and if you want division under a division under a division, it must not create any issues. So what you can do, you can fix the division inside another division by using absolute positioning. Okay, let me show you how we can use the absolute. So in this case, make sure that we are having the relative one right now available, and then we'll create a fixed. So just wait for a moment. So let us create a absolute inside relative. Okay, so what I will do is I will create in here, sorry, here one division class absolute, then again division close. In this I will define it as this is a div with relative absolute position. Okay, and let us now define the CSS of this. It's not that much of different in comparison to the others. It's very similar. I will just define it as div dot absolute. Okay, now the position will be absolute. Okay, now I need to define the position of that. So you can see we are defining in the relative. So in the relative, we need to define what will be the location of the division in the particular division. So from top, I will define as 80 pixels in the particular division. I'm just taking example. You can do it in any way you want. From right, I don't want to give any space, so we'll use 0. Width, I want it to be 200 pixels. Height, I want it to be 100 pixels. I'm using random kind of values. Okay, so you can use any you want. So 2 pixels solid, and this time I will use gray only, so we'll save it as it is. Then now let me reload this one. But you see that, just a moment, I think something wrong we may have done here. Anyone can find out issue in this, let me know. Line 25. Okay, got it. Okay, but still this needs to be there in the relative, inside the relative. Actually, we are missing something. Just wait. Okay, we'll repeat again. Kindly wait for that. Let me check first of all what wrong happening here. This division which is opening, which is showing in here, we need to open. We need to show inside this one. That's what we are doing. So let me check. Why this nesting? Because absolute is about positioning a division near to the ancestor one. Like suppose if you want to use division inside division, we need to use the absolute one. That will help us. Okay, we see where we did any mistake, and also relative position relative. Oh, okay. So we may have not. We need to define height and width. We need to define the height and width here. Okay, so let us define in the relative position. Let's remove the left one from here straight. Now you can see that it is working. So what I was trying to explain here is that we need to use these kind of CSS position properties to make sure that our layout is designed well. Okay. So some of you asked to explain again that what are these kind of positionings and all. So let me repeat again. So basically there are 5 types of position property in CSS. Now what is position property? Position property means you need to define the actual position of the division, place of the division where you want it to be on the website. Division, okay? So I already told you what is division. Division means like if you want to create a layout, you need to make sure you use the elements of HTML inside a division only. It makes sure that there is no leakage in the content. Leakage means this content needs to be inside a division. This content needs to be inside a division only. This content needs to be inside a division only. Like this logo needs to be inside a division only. This text needs to be under division only. This button needs to be under division only. Like this, the whole website is under a division and division and division. This will be sticky division, this will be fixed division, this will be absolute division, and so on. It's a complicated thing, so it will take time to understand while you do practical. So 5 types of positionings are here. This is a static position. So in static position, basically, there is no change. It will be static. Okay, nothing at all. It's defined one time and it is static. Okay, so it's not affected by any kind of properties. Even if you use right, left, top, if you see here, we used bottom, right, and these kind of things. It will not work in the static. Okay, so it's not affected by these things. So this is the static one. Then the relative. So what is relative? Well, basically is a normal kind of positioning where we can set top, right, bottom, and left properties relatively. Okay, which means a relative property can be adjusted in any way. If I want to be in the right side, left side, top side, bottom side, I can use that. Okay, or any content inside the division also can be adjusted to fit into any gap left in the element. Okay, so this is a relative positioning in which you can position any kind of content in any way you want to position it in a well maintained manner. If I minimize the content and all, you can see it is taking the size according to that only. This is the plus point. Then we have the which one? Absolute one. Okay, this fixed one. So in the fixed one, you can see from the example itself is clear that is it's a position, which means that it always stays in the same place even the page is scrolled. So right now scrolling is not available here. Okay, so let me show you by doing the scroll activity here. Like suppose if I define body here, in the body if I define HIGHT height as 4000 pixels. So obviously a scroll will be coming. You can see this scroll here, everyone. So you can see even if I scroll it, the fixed element will be fixed. It won't change, right? You can see it is fixed. So when we can use that? In this situation. If you see, if I scroll, this particular logo and the menu stays as it is. Then it changes the color. If I scroll, it remains as it is. Then it changes the color. That is the example of the fixed positioning. Got it? Now the next one is absolute. Okay, so absolute is a position relative to the nearest position ancestor. Okay, like if an absolute position element has no position ancestor, it is used the document body and moves along with the page scrolling, which means if I want a division to be used under a parent division, an ancestor division, we can use that. Okay, we can use the absolute division anywhere you want except the static. In static it's not possible. So if I give a gap here of bottom, top, and left or right, it will stay as it is, it won't change. Okay, but if I use the absolute in static, it won't be changing anything, it will not be absolute. If I define, it won't work. Sometimes what happens, just see example here. There's a icon, then there's a title, then there are some kind of text, again a duplicate of that. Now, these are 3 separate divisions under a big division. these three separate divisions are absolute divisions, are absolute positioning. Okay, because whatever top, right, left, bottom or left, whatever we define in here, the margins and all, it will stay as it is. Okay, it doesn't matter if we minimize it or if we maximize it. This is the relative here. Okay, and the last one is the which one? Sticky one. So what is sticky basically? What is sticky? So sticky is a position based on the user's scroll position. Okay, so suppose this is a fixed division, so it doesn't have, it's not, it's nothing like the sticky one. Let me show you a sticky example. Instead of explaining, let me show you. Okay, so let me use it. Let us create a sticky. Just wait for a moment. Okay, so we created a sticky division here. Okay, and let us now define the CSS division dot sticky. Okay, so the position will be sticky. So there is a way of using it, that is WebKit. So WebKit is basically, it depends on different web versions. Sometimes it works different in Chrome. Sometimes it works different in uh, Firefox. So to make sure that the platform independency issue is not there, we use WebKit. Position again sticky by default browser, and let us give it the position of top 0. Okay, and padding, let me give a padding here, like a text must be 5 pixel padding, and the background color I will give it as green. Text color I will give it as white, and the border I will give it as normal. I 1 pixel black. Okay, that is it. Now let us try to load this one. You see here I'm sticky. When we scroll this, what you see, it top. When I come back, it, when I scroll down, it just yet sticks to the top. You can even define top 10 also. If I define top 10, what will happen? A 10 pixel of margin it will take from the top, which means when we scroll, it will take a 10 pixel of space. When we define as 100, it will take 100 like this. Got it? This is the sticky. Sticky where it is used basically. Let me show you an example of sticky. This is a okay, and this is a sticky division and the whole static division. Okay, So let me make it 0 again, and got it. Okay, that is how we use the CSS positioning. So anyone having any doubt in the CSS positioning? Relative is something which we can use in any way we want. Relative designing is a kind of design which we can design any way we want. Any top, any margin, any left, any right. On the web page, any way we want to give the division, we can define the relative, but not static, not fixed, not absolute, not sticky, right? So relative is a kind of open kind of way of using any divisions. Explain pixels. Now, pixel is something like a table, like counting numbers 1 to 10. You know, 10 is the biggest one is the smallest one. Same way, pixels are there. 1 pixel, 2 pixel. 1 pixel is the smallest one. 10 pixel is the highest one. 100 is the more highest one, like that. Where do we use position is static? Static is something if you want to use, like suppose this particular sticky is used in static division only. This button will be used in static division only. This button will be used in static division only. Okay. Difference between static and fixed. I already showed you the example. You can see if you scroll, this will be fixed. This will be sticky. It will be sticky. Okay, whatever position we have defined in here, and this is fixed. Once we define the height and width and the position, it will stay here only. Okay, everyone, my voice is clear, let me know. Okay, so anyone, any doubts in here? CSS positioning, it is very important to understand. So try to do practicals and tasks on CSS position property. That is very important, because I will give you lots of templates to create your own website. But if you don't understand what is the exact meaning of the positioning, it will be hard for you to understand the codes also. Okay, let us see the other topics in here. Okay, let us see one more thing known as overlapping. Okay, now what is overlapping basically? Now, suppose if I want to show some text over a image. Suppose if I want to show some text over an image. Okay, so how can I overlap two different divisions? So let us see that example in here. Just wait for a moment. Position a text inside an image. Okay, so that is a kind of thing which everyone searches on the internet, how to do that on Stack Overflow and different forums, but that is very easy to understand. So I will create a new file and we'll name it as CSS overlap. So let me create the page first. Title, sorry, title CSS overlap. Okay, so in the body, let me define some image. So we'll try to define the image here. Okay, so just proceed here. Let me give a title here first. This is a heading. What I will do, I will show the heading on the image. Okay, this is the heading, and This is image, so I will define image src. Let me check if any kind of image here is it's here or not. Okay, we'll use the link only. Okay, let us pick any kind of logo in here. Let's try to pick this one. Let's pick anything. Uh, mask. We'll define it on this. After the class, I will explain you about one of my course, which is regarding the ethical hacking. So wait for that. I will explain you soon. Those who will be interested, they can join the session. We are also hosting one boot camp on bug bounty. Okay, so how many of you here know about bug bounty? Anyone? How many of you know about bug bounty? No. Okay, so basically, bug bounty is something. Suppose if you create a website, okay, if you create a website, how hackers hack it. Now, if you're a developer, you need to understand hacking also. So, if you create a website, a hacker can hack your website. If you leave a bug is a kind of loophole or weakness in your website which can be exploited by the hackers and they can easily hack your website. They can upload their content whenever they want. So, what happened in that case? There are bug bounty hunters. So, organizations, companies like Microsoft, Facebook, GitHub, and other big websites, they uh, they create a bug bounty programs of their website and they host it on some platform where you can participate, you can find bugs, and you will be awarded like $100, $200, $1,000, $5,000, like that. You may have also seen various news also. Like, how many of you heard about few days back? Indian girl was able to find out a bug in Microsoft. Anyone? Few weeks back only it was over the news. An Indian girl who find out bug in Microsoft and was awarded, I think, around 20-24 lakh rupees. So yeah, that is bug bounty. Find out bug, get money. Okay, so lot of kind of bug bounty sessions, bug bounty events are happening, and I also host 7 days of bug bounty uh, boot camp where I teach for continuous 7 days live how bug bounty is done and how you can become a bug bounty hunter without investing anything. So let us wait for that. I will explain you in few minutes after completing this overlap topic. Okay. This is the image. In the image, I defined the link here and I will define the width also. So let us define the width as 100 and height as also, let's go 140, we'll define it as 140 and that's it. Now we define one paragraph because we will be trying to overlap two things, header and the paragraph. Okay. Okay. Now this is a paragraph. This is overlapped on image. Like this, I define it here. I'll close the paragraph tag. That's it. Now it's all about the style we do in here. So we'll define the style tag. Okay. So in this style tag, I will define image tag. Okay. So before that, let me load the CSS overlap. Where it is. What you see here right now, okay, it's very compressed. Let me use width as 500 and height as 340. Now it's fine. Now you can see that the image is between the heading and between the paragraph. What if I want to show the paragraph on the image and the heading also on the image? So there is a property which is known as Z index. Z index basically uses to simply uh, reduce the opacity of the, you can say, image, and place other contents by overlapping it, the particular division wherever it is implemented. So let me use the position. So can anyone tell me what position I need to use in here? What kind of position I need to use here? Anyone? Yes, and why absolute? Yes, absolute will be using. But why absolute will be using here? Anyone? No, it is not fixed, not relative. It will be absolute. But why absolute? Any explanation, anyone? To change its position? No, anyone else? Because it will be inside of the division? No. Okay, now what we are doing here is we will not be affecting other divisions. Okay, let me pause the chat. So we will not be affecting any other elements. Like we don't want to affect H1, we don't want to affect the P, we don't want to affect anything. What we use will be creating an independent division. The independent division is the only absolute one. That's why we'll be using position absolute. You'll get an idea slowly and slowly what to use, when to use, where to use. So it's not a in only one day. It's all about practice. You will get to know when to use and what to use and where to use. So left will define it as top. Will not define. I'm not defining any kind of height with here. Z index. That is the main thing. I will define Z index as one. Kind of blurry. Okay. So when I reload this, what you see that the image here is now having a z index of -1, which means that it's having an absolute position, which means it can come on any division it want to be. Let me remove the absolute one here and use the relative. What will happen in that case? You can see it is simply beneath the heading and above the paragraph, not causing anything to others. Okay, if I use fixed, but you see it's working because the division is fixed. Okay, it's not causing any issues to others. What if I use sorry, same, not working. So static, relative are some kind of divisions which we cannot mix with the others. We can use absolute to mix with others. Now I hope you are getting my point. So I'm using absolute here, positioning, and once I reload this, okay, one more thing I want to do is I need to change the text color to white. So I will do it H1 color white, okay, and P also color white, because in black it is causing some issues. Now you can see the overlap has been done. And the Z index, it's not blurry, but it can be used beside the other divisions. Okay, like the absolute division will not be causing any issues to other division. It can adjust anywhere. Okay. Now, suppose if I use opacity here, if I want to blur the image, but I can use opacity. Okay, like suppose I use 1 pixel of opacity. Just wait. What was the opacity code here? Wait for a moment. So I need to define it in -1, I think so, or in 0 point something like that. Oh, we'll not be using any pixels. 0.5. What you see here, it is now a little bit of blur, right? 0.2, more blur. 0.1. You can see the opacity is used when we want to blur the image. Okay, that is the opacity. So anyone any doubts in here? Let me quickly. Opacity is used to blur out the image like this. Blurred an image here. Okay, so the topics pending for next: CSS float, CSS align. What value should be used for opacity for the image? You can use 0.1 for the lowest one, and 0.5 or 1 for uh, same as changes. We no letter is in white only. That's why letter is in white. That's why you are seeing this. Letters are not blurred. No, images are not being blurred. White color. That's why you are able to see like it is. Okay. Opacity you can do on image only, not text. Is my voice clear right now? I'm having some internet issue in here. Okay, I'm because of some bad weather here in Bangalore. So, okay. So everyone, that is it for today's session. What we'll do in the next session, will be finishing out the rest of the topics in CSS. And those who want to attend my boot camp on Bug Bounty, they can attend. It is starting from Saturday. Okay, this Saturday. It will be in the morning only. Those who want to attend, they can attend 1 hour each day for continuously 7 days. For 7 days, I will be hosting a live sessions on bootcamp. I think around few seats are left out, so you can attend. No, it's not free. It's having 499 rupees for attending the bootcamp. 499 rupees. So if you want, you can do it. If you don't want, it's up to you. Okay. So that is it for today's session, everyone. I will share the link of the bootcamp in the group, and the recording of today's session and the coding will be uploaded as soon as possible by tomorrow morning. So that is it for today's session, everyone. Thank you for joining. You can now leave the class and have a good day ahead. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.